So let's talk about saber and conocer, two Spanish verbs, both of which mean to know. Saber, in the English translation, means to know in the sense of to know a fact, to know how to do something, or to know something off by heart. Conocer, in contrast, means to know in the sense of to be acquainted with a person, a place, or a thing. So let's look at some Spanish examples under the first category of saber. Él sabe el nombre de ese sospechoso. We're not talking about the fact that he knows or is acquainted with the suspect, but he knows something, a fact about that suspect, which would be his name. Ellos no saben dónde está la pistola. Again, a fact. They don't know where the pistol is presently located at. Las advertencias Miranda? Sí, las sé. All right. I know Miranda off by heart, as we talked about one of the translations of saber, to know something off by heart. And finally, under saber, por el entrenamiento, un equipo de SWAT sabe disparar muy bien. Because of their training, a SWAT team knows how to shoot very well. Important point here, do not use the word como after saber in this instance, as in to know how to do something. When you use saber in this format, the English translation of to know how to is inherent in the verb saber. So we do not use como afterwards. That's just bad Spanish, okay? Let's look at conocer, a couple examples here. Conozco bien la ciudad. I can get around the city easily. I'm familiar with it. I'm acquainted with it. All right, I know it very well. Sí, ella conoce al sospechoso. She knows the suspect. She can identify him. She knows how tall he is or how short he is, what he looks like, his hair, all that, because she's acquainted with him. Conocemos el lugar como la palma de la mano. We are familiar with that particular area like the back of our hand. We know it that well. Another proper usage for the verb conocer. El libro, sí, lo conozco. All right, I'm acquainted with that book. I'm not talking about a fact here. I'm talking about my depth of knowledge of the book. I've read it several times. I know what it's about. So, sí, lo conozco. Now let's look at some of these things in contrast. You're doing an investigation. You're interviewing perhaps a witness. And you say, Señor, conoce al sospechoso, pero no sabe su nombre, right? You know the suspect, you're acquainted with him, but you don't know his name, a fact, right? Sí, conozco la tienda, pero no sé cómo se llama. I know the store, I'm familiar with it, heard about it before, but I just can't remember the name. Again, a fact about that particular store. Él sabe el lugar y conoce el área muy bien. Okay? He knows the area where the suspect is going to appear at some later point. Right? He's familiar with that location. And he knows it very well as far as being acquainted with it. Okay? He knows about it factually and is acquainted with it to get around very easily. So in closing here, saber and conocer are very distinct in their meanings. So with these few examples that we've provided for you, and by keeping your ears open and listening for how native speakers use these in conversation, it won't be any time at all before you have these memorized and you know exactly when to use each one. So follow us on Facebook and Instagram, give us a like on the YouTube page, and above all, be safe.